I'll just edit out there.
Pretty interesting game.
You watch it?
What's that?
No less than here. I'm scared.
Usually when
Makes
you
me
say
cry.
what's his name? That
Dude, that was the whole. During the whole game, I was so tense. Like, if someone had put power in that game, I'd been angry. It was like last. It was just kept changing possession.
So I see you're talking about Lux's
Yes.
game data and selects.
Lux is code for terrorist.
That's a very fun.
I found it actually.
You found it?
Yeah, full PDF.
Of the book?
Whole book. It's 128 megs though, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna upload it and send you a link.
Okay. Thanks.
Screen grab.
Ever?
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations.
Cheers, games ready to pitch.
Dr. Mark. Now, what time your kids got out today?
Hey man, Brady the fish was some serious stuff back in the day.
One is 11, I think the high school is 11. And,
What time? Dan again.
Don't play.
11:45. Oh, I need to call my wife.
I tried to convince my daughter not to go this morning.
Yeah.
And she bored. She been texting me all morning. I'm like, see, I told you not to
I
go.
want to go.
Please wear that flash.
They wasn't going to do anything.
Let's go to it.
All right. Let's get started.
Okay, that's fine. You gonna do?
So everybody knows Mr. Cameron.
Ching.
Our young professor here, teaching what 25 for us, and he's also the director of
The user group.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm one of the leaders of the Macon.net user group. Great. Okay, so today's topic is actually going to be on serious games. And what I've done is actually shared the presentation so you can not look at my pitiful presentation skills or designs of the skills, but actually skip ahead a little bit and find some of the games that work us in the demo section so you can play a couple of them and sort of see what I'm dealing with. Okay? I'm going to start. Y'all kind of start clicking around and see what you like. Okay? All right. Everybody got the URL? Oh, wait just a second. I'll sort of start it. Is anyone not familiar? Has anyone never played a video game before? Oh my gosh, really? Okay. So, usually when you say games or video games, you think entertainment, okay, play, that kind of stuff, okay? And when you start to think, education and gaming side by side, it becomes one of those weird sort of scenarios where people just sort of back away, right? Well, truthfully, games have been used in education for a long time. Since at least the 90s, maybe a little bit earlier. And it's not until here recently, in the 2000s really, that games have been used, or the industry has been sort of tapped to be useful in other ways. Okay, training, for instance, with like the medical field and military, things like that. How to handle certain situations. Fixing a plane or chasing terrorists, or interrogating a community, that kind of stuff. Okay? If you go ahead and go through sort of a training process, then the first time you have to do it for real, you have more control of the situation. Okay? That's the kind of idea. Right? All right, I'm going to assume that y'all have the URL. Okay, So like I said, serious games have been used for a while. Just a couple of industries: business, military, health. Okay. All right. So what I've listed is these several games, and the ones I have are all the online games. There are 2 pages of them. Okay. And I kind of give you a really quick description as far as what's going on with the games. Now, if you want to be really sad, this is the game to do. Okay. Because games will evoke emotion. That's what it's sort of all about. Playing in some brain history and things like that. What you have is this game. You're basically controlling a villager, and the villager has to first kind of navigate and try to get to the water, right? But then you have basically criminals that come and actually kidnap your villager. So you really feel this emotional attachment to the person who you're trying to direct around to get to the water, right? And that's the first part of the game. And then the second part is actually where you're managing a refugee camp, okay? Or a camp for people who have been captured. Right? So it's basically the idea is that you're not just educating, like, is it a math problem, 2 + 2 = 4, that kind of stuff. You're educating as far as the social issues, right? So, like the first one here is from the Amnesty International. What they were trying to do is get rid of the death penalty. Right? So they're trying to actually make you part of the Amnesty organization, and you actually go through and set up campaigns and offices to try to fight the death penalty, to get it eradicated from the world. Right? Before It's Dying is the one about villagers. I tell you, when I played this, I was really just like, I didn't boo-hoo, but I was like, man. So it's just really kind of, because you can learn a lot, because we don't have to deal with some of these issues here, right? But we can actually gain more knowledge by seeing what other people go through in this world. Right? The next one about RNA. So you may have heard other programs, other games. We're actually going to get to another slide. It's really neat. But it's basically the gamification of other problems. Okay. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to solve folding of RNA modules. Okay. So you go through the game and figure that out. I don't have a lot of experience with that one yet, but I did want to put it out there to see if anybody want to try. Okay. The next one you have is this flood sim, and what it is the island, of England, I guess, or the UK in a broad sense. You're basically the director of sort of flood control or like a flood department, if you will, and you're trying to put forth policies and invest into infrastructure and that kind of stuff to try to control the flood, to try to minimize damage or keep people aware, that kind of stuff. Okay, and then City One and Philo, it just sort of goes on from there. So you see, you've got the sort of the gamification of a certain real-world problems that really bring in a different element of engagement into issues. Okay. All right. Now, the next one here, Jane McGonigal, she did a presentation at TED. This lady is basically she's a game designer and a sort of a thought person. But essentially the idea is that, hey, gaming can make a better world, right? And so she said there were lots of hours being spent right now on games, developing skills like in World of Warcraft and things like that. But she actually wants the world of gaming more, okay? Because essentially you become an expert in some of those fields. Now, patching and weaving weapons online may not be the skill that you translate to something here in the real world, but the idea is that you would play games to actually increase your skills here to be useful. Okay? All right. So that's a really neat talk, so I would definitely suggest you go to that. All right. This came up this week. Fortuitous it was. Is essentially the gamification of how some of the brain works. Right? So you actually have people that are trying to figure out how the neurons are mapped and how they work in the brain. Okay? This is out of MIT. It was announced like this week. It's called iWire. Right? I just thought it was really, really neat to do, and so I definitely suggest trying that out and going from there. All right. Now there are a few conferences. I just sort of Googled around a little bit. I've actually personally been to the Atlanta, Georgia SiegeCon. It has a growing sector of serious games They actually have a track built towards it. And you talk to people who have been in the industry for a long, long time. Usually it's training or education based, okay? But you have people who talk about, Rich, do you remember there's an Army series game. Have you ever heard of that?
You talking about PKE?
Something like it, basically.
Was this like a game you bought or?
No, but
I can't hear it. I can't hear you, baby.
Oh,
what did he ask?
Flash game? Or?
it was actually built on the real, the Unreal Engine. Basically, you have different organizations like the Army putting forth efforts to build serious games, and one of them was sort of this training for going around Afghanistan and searching for terrorists or
the
bio problem or something.
last time, right before I went, they took us to these simulators, and it was like going to a movie theater, you know, big, huge, wide screens, and went up to my first lane, and it was put in operation a 50 caliber machine gun and engage the enemy, and they walk you, and it's a 50 cal, looks, it's the same size and everything, but it's like a toy gun, but it functions like the real one, and it's firing lasers to hit targets that are coming up. And then you move down to the squad automatic weapon, the 240 Bravo, boom, boom, boom. It was like the real thing. And the concept behind it is that then they also have just rifle marksmanship, where they start at the very basic and work up to the, like you're now going through an urban environment.
Yeah.
And what they found is that if they take a unit out to the rifle range and have them, let them zero, and then have them qualify, about 20% will qualify on the first run through. If they take them over to the simulator and they run them through the simulator, they have an 80% rate on the first time through on the live fire range.
Yeah.
So
you sort of see what's going on, right? You're getting sort of this real world hands-on experience in a virtual sense, and then you apply it to your job, and you put up that right? So Siege, basically it happens every October. They have a growing sector of serious games going on there, and that's really neat to see. Okay. And there are other ones. There are actually some that are actually dedicated exclusively to serious play. All right, and they use games for all sorts of things. Mainly there was one about the water policies. Okay, so how water is used and that kind of stuff. All right. Here are the links I sort of used to prepare some of my information, and that's pretty much the presentation. I was going to use some of this time to let y'all sort of play. Yes, sir.
Have you seen the Battlefield 3 simulator?
No.
It's got like maybe 4 projectors. It's got a full 360-degree screen. And this guy can be free roaming and has a treadmill that it's just a roller, so you can go any which direction. And everything. There's a video on YouTube.
like the Amnesty and the Darfur,
Yes.
Are they doing that for awareness of the issues?
Yes.
And then are they trying to solicit you to give money or
I didn't see it as given.
What's
I'm
the-
sure there's a donation.
is it just an awareness? Is that the main
It's
thing?
more awareness. I saw these games as more awareness than I saw as far as giving. But I think if you invested the time, like
Good way to reach out.
I was really tied to my little villager, like because not only do you start with the family, right? And so you pick your character, okay, and you're running along. Well, they get captured, and so it automatically pushes you to say, hey, you want to do this camp thing or do another villager thing. So you switch, and now your family's down by one member. You know, and you sort of see that resource, that really precious resource of human life, sort of dwindle in front of you, and that's there's some things going on there. And so it's actually really clever. I suspect that if you wanted to donate, that you would get, you'd be definitely.
Well, I think we were just saying that we thought that would be, for this age group, for awareness and trying to get them involved in social world issues.
Yes.
It's an excellent way to get them involved and to at least bring their level of awareness to them.
Now, some of the stuff, obviously, games, the intention of games is,